Welcome, my name is Julianne, and today I am going to show you how to paint your Kintsugi Mended Heart using the Kintsugi Mended Heart art kit from Art by Julianne. So Kintsugi is the ancient Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold, platinum, or silver. So for this, we are mending a painted heart with gold paint. So here's a sample of a finished product. So you can see the heart's been painted, ripped, glued back together, and then the gold paint was used to enhance it where it was ripped. Okay, so now I'm going to lower the video so you can see what I'm working on, and I'll keep talking to you. So in your kit, you have a practice paper. So if you're not familiar with painting, this is for you to practice the techniques. With this heart, it's pretty open-ended to paint however you want. So with the practice sheet, I would practice painting on wet and dry surfaces so you get an idea. So I'm just gonna wet part of the paper and then take some paint, and you can see how where it's wet, it flows, and where it's dry, it doesn't. So you can kind of play with that with the different colors. And you can also try dabbing. And then if you would like, you have some salt with the kit, and that you can sprinkle on to any area that's wet. And that will cause the paint to move and create a pattern. It takes a little while to show up while it dries, so I'll show you that in a little while after it's dried so you can get an idea what that looks like. So in your kit, you've got 2 of the watercolor paper hearts. The watercolor is a little thicker than the cardstock paper hearts that you also have, which is the background. That's thinner and smoother. So you're going to paint on the watercolor heart. And I gave you 2 so that you can feel free to experiment and just pick the one that you like best for mounting onto your wooden plaque. So this is really open to whatever it is that you want to paint. You can think ahead of time about what you want it to look like and paint that, or you can just kind of I've included a meditation in the instructions, so you can, a link to the meditation, so you can listen to that and just kind of free flow and paint what you feel like painting. So you can wet it, let the paint flow. I think I'll wet around the edge and let paint flow in there. And then maybe do purple. I also like doing spirals. And as I showed you on the practice, you can sprinkle color too. So really just have fun with it. And you can, once you get to a certain point, you can let it dry, and then you can, when it's dry, you can go back and add layers. These paints look really nice when you layer the colors. So I'm just gonna put that aside and let it dry. And I'm gonna take one that I've already painted ahead of time. This is all dry. It's got some colors that were done on a watery background. So now on top of that, I think maybe I will do a outline around it with purple. And you don't have to worry too much about layering too much, because even if you were to paint your heart so much that it turned out almost black, it would still look beautiful with the gold on it in the end. So give yourself some freedom to express yourself. I think I will do a spiral over here. And another spiral over here. So you can see it just, as you layer the colors, you can see the background colors behind it. And just keep layering it and playing until you get to where you want it to be. Okay, so now I've got one that's painted and dry. This is one, it's all dry. So once you have your heart that you're ready to tear, you just take it and rip it into as many pieces as you want. I usually do like 5 or 6. If you do too many, it might be a little more complicated to glue back together, but you want enough that you're going to get some nice gold lines in your heart. And then you're going to kind of piece it back together and pay attention to how the pieces go, which pieces go on top of the others because of the way that the paper is ripping. So just kind of so you have an idea of how it goes back together. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so then you want to just maybe set that aside a little bit. Put that over here. And then you're going to take your cardstock heart, the smooth one. And with this, you're going to take your glue and use your brush and with your wet brush and spread glue all over the heart. A thin layer. You do want to get all the way to the edge. You can add a little more water if it feels too thick. Okay, now you're going to place your pieces back together. So when I put it together, I saw that this piece goes under this one, so I'll line this up with the corner, but then I'm going to put this one in underneath it so that this piece goes over the white paper that's there. And then I'm going to put a little bit more glue right where that paper was torn so that I can put that on there. And don't worry about being perfect because we're going to cover it all with gold paint, and so you can cover up any spaces, and imperfection is part of the beauty of this project. Okay, so then you have white paper there, so you're going to want to put a little more glue on that, and then glue that piece on, and just go through each piece. Next, I'll take this one. A little more glue on here. And that one. Okay, that's sticking up a little bit, so just stick a little more glue anywhere where it's not sticking. Now at this point, I'll show you what that looks like. What I would recommend is putting it under a book to dry so that it dries flat. It's not required, but that will help it get a nice flat surface. Okay, so the next step, now I've got one that I've already done that too. So yeah, I've ripped it and glued it back together. You can see where the lines are. It's on the cardstock. Now I'm going to take the gold paint and you're going to want to stir the paint up a little bit. Mine's already stirred up. And you may want to add a little water. It's up to you how it feels, the consistency. Make sure your brush is fairly dry. And you're just going to take the brush and paint in the cracks with the gold paint. And once you do all the cracks. Then you're going to paint the edges as well. So you're going to take your brush and just go along the edge. All the way around. I didn't paint all those cracks, just so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing, but see, paint the edge. All right, and once that is done, I'm gonna let that dry, and then you're gonna take the gloss medium that was included and cover the whole front of it with gloss. It'll give it a nice shiny finish. And then when that's all done, you're going to flip it over and put glue on the back the same way that you did before you put the ripped heart on it. And you're going to take the heart and line it up onto your whiteboard. Just line it up so it's centered. Glue it down. And again, for this one, I would put a book on top of it. You can put a piece of parchment paper or something if the glue is coming around the edges and you're afraid that it's going to stick to the book. You can use parchment paper in between. If not, just put a book on it and let it sit while it dries. And then you will have your Kintsugi heart. All right, enjoy.